This is Support is Sexy, episode 233, with Genecia Alluora, co-founder of Soul Rich Woman. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm so happy to have you here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. And today I am so excited to welcome our guest all the way from Singapore, Miss Genecia Alluora. Genecia is actually the former Miss Singapore International, but her story is so powerful. I know you're going to love it. She talks about her journey growing up in Singapore, supporting her family, what she went through, also becoming Miss Singapore, but becoming a serial entrepreneur, and now establishing a company called Soul Rich Woman. And you'll hear in this episode what being a soul rich woman is all about and what she's doing to empower women in Singapore and beyond to really create the lives and the businesses and all the things that they dream of, and to support each other, which you know, we're all about that around here because support is sexy. So on this episode, what you'll hear from Genecia is the power of the right mindset for success. Don't be crippled by your perceived limitations. You don't know what you don't know, and that's the truth. How to channel the worry and fear into something more positive by envisioning success. How to forgive yourself for a business failure. We all have them, business or personal failures. The power of authentic storytelling. How to leverage social media and build what she calls your know, like, and trust score. The importance of knowing when it's time to upgrade your social circle. You know, we always talk about that. You got to take the average of the people who are around you. And Genecia tells us what it means to be a soul-rich woman. So I know you're going to love this episode. Tons of great motivation, inspiration, and tips within. If you want to learn more, go to supportissexypodcast.com and just search Genecia, Genecia. Her show notes page will pop up with links to Soul Rich Woman. It's at soulrichwoman.com, but links to that and all of the other resources that she mentions in this episode. All right, so now, without further ado, Genecia Alluora. So Genecia, thank you so much for joining us for an episode of Support is Sexy all the way from Singapore. I'm so happy to have you here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely. So the first question, when did you first fall in love with entrepreneurship?
I started to fall in love with entrepreneurship when I was already in school because I found a way to make money and, of course, to do training and recruit trainers to teach yoga, aerobics, line dancing. And back then, so I formed like a community. So when people wanted trainers, and then they, I sort of kind of give them to companies who wanted to do that. But to me, when I started to do all this was because I had to support myself through school since I was 14 years old. So naturally, when I taught yoga, aerobics, line dancing, I was trained in this area. I mean, to earn more, it's not just about trading time for money, but also how do I grow this platform to supply the trainers to, companies and fitness centers and stuff like that. But for me, entrepreneurship is also about having courage to live a life that a lot of people cannot find in themselves. So I always encourage them to really face their fears. And while fear can be paralyzing, it also can be immensely motivating. It's how you deal with the fear that determines how successful you'll become. So I think it's important to acknowledge your fear, and that's when you'll know what are steps you need to accomplish your goals.
Mm-hmm. Now, where did you grow up in Singapore? Is that home for you?
Yeah, I grew up in Singapore. In fact, many years ago, I used to live in a kampong. In Asia, in Singapore, we call it kampong. But we still have the village, and we rear chickens, and we have ducks and rabbits. Those were the days. But after that, in Singapore, we evolved and become, homes and into private homes, yeah, and public housing.
What was a young Genecia like growing up in Singapore?
Well, the young Genecia is someone who was a little bit introvert and, someone who was not so confident, constantly, was bullied in school because I didn't have a lot of material things. I had to work. So imagine waking up 5 a.m. in the morning to go to school, and then you finish school around 12 to 1 p.m. And then you have to do extracurricular activities, like you go to, your project work and everything. So by the time I finished, it was like 4 p.m., 5. And then that was when people were going to watch movies, they're going to shopping centers to chill out. Well, for me, I had to get ready to go out there to work. And by the time I reach home, it's around 11 p.m., and I have not done my homework yet. So literally, that was my life for almost, I would say, half my lifetime. So it was pretty tough, supporting myself through school. Yeah.
And you began working at age 13, right? 13 or 14 or so?
14, yeah, 14.
And you did so because I've heard you mention in other interviews and information I researched on you is because you really were asked to help support your family at that time, not because you were necessarily anxious about going to work.
Yeah, I was not anxious to go to work. I wish I could just chill at home,
Right.
But I couldn't. Yeah, because I have a younger brother as well. So, it's all about putting the bread on the table. And, I just want to be that daughter who wants to be more independent and take care of the family. So I stepped up. Yeah, It was more responsibility.
So what was that time like for you? I know you said you were sort of bullied in school or made fun of because you were doing things that other kids weren't doing and you couldn't have the same clothes and the same other kinds of things because of money. How did you get through that time as a teenager?
Wow, during that time, I would say it was pretty hard to get through, but I do have some good friends along the way because I think my personality is more guy-like because of my upbringing. So I kind of have like 90% guy friends and like maybe 10% girlfriends, So, but most of the people were kind of like, they kind of like laugh at me, they mocked at me. So life was not easy. Psychologically and socially, therefore, even though I was a leader, some thought I was competing at the national level. I was representing school in wushu, which is martial arts, and also I was leadership in like student council. But most of the time, I was introvert, and I don't really want to engage with people socially that much because they're looking at the shoes that I wear, the bags that I carry, the phones that I hold. Back then, many years ago, we were using Nokia 3320. And then, people upgraded to Samsung and other brands. But I was still using this big-ass fat phone that,
Right.
couldn't upgrade. Yeah, I couldn't upgrade this, play the snake,
Right.
trying to... the yellow rubbery buttons with the yellow colored backlight. Wow, that was my time. So it was not easy because people were laughing at me, and I thank God that my friends, some of very good friends, kind of like encouraged me along the way. Yeah.
That's excellent. So how did you go then from, as a young woman, having to work and get up at 5 a.m. to go to school and all of that stuff, from there to becoming Miss Singapore International in 2006, right?
Yeah.
And then now to who you are today with having at least, I believe it's 8 businesses. So you're a serial entrepreneur today. What was that journey like from working and being in school? And then how did you become Miss Singapore?
Wow.
I know that's a lot
to finish the story.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put it in summary. So basically, along the way, I slimmed down. I kind of lost weight. I kind of like slimmed down, and I grew my hair long, and I learned public speaking. I went for grooming classes. I learned how to catwalk. I learned a little bit about modeling. So I had this friend in school who signed me up for the New Paper, New Face. So in Singapore, there's this competition, which is it's like a modeling competition. It's huge, okay, in Singapore. It's the New Paper, New Face. So I took part in it. They signed me up, and I took part in it. And that was the start of my journey, where I learned about stage confidence.
Did you know?
Oh, yeah, I know.
You knew they were signing you up?
I refused to go, but they kind of encouraged me, say you should go. I think you will make it. I'm like, but I'm so ugly. I'm just an ugly duck, and I'm not a modeling a material. I was struggling with identity issues, and we have like self-esteem issues, and because back then when I'm not rich, I don't have a lot of clothes, I don't have all those exposure that a lot of the girls have. So literally to me, even buying a pair of heels, I really have to save and scrimp and save my money to buy a pair of heels. So while other girls will have like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pairs of like shoes to change into, and for me, I probably have one pair of slippers and then one shoes and then one pair of heels. And then so that was me. And to me, there was a lot of fear and resistance because, oh my God, who am I to compete? And I'm playing small because I am nobody. So dealing with all these fears and having gone into the competition, then I realized that I could do it because back then there were thousands of girls who auditioned, and I got into top 20. So that boosted my confidence, and that was when my friend said, you should join the pageants, and that should be the next step. And then I took on a challenge because to me, I said that, okay, since I have done it once, maybe I could do it again. But then again, I was still playing small. I was still holding myself back and say, I'm not as rich as the other girls. I'm not as, I don't have that much support because, in competitions, you need to have like SMS support, you need to have voting, you need to have this and that, and you need to have flaunt whatever you have, right? So I couldn't have all those. I didn't have as much as those, but with sheer hard work and practice and determination and really, really the eagerness to keep learning, because there are so many contestants out there, what makes you different and what makes you stand out? So I practice, I got a coach, who's a friend, who's willing to help me. So I kind of got free help, who believed in me. And I joined Miss Singapore Universe first, and then I was placed first runner-up. And that was a national competition on national TV. And that was when I said, okay, I didn't win. I didn't represent Singapore in Miss Universe, but never mind, let's do the next one. So I went to the next one, which was Miss Singapore International. And by then, I was more confident. I overcame my fears. I was telling myself, while fear can be paralyzing, well, it can be immensely motivating. It's really how you deal with the fear that determines how successful you become. So to me, I think that the most important part of my journey was to acknowledge the fear. And that's when I knew what are the steps I need to take to accomplish my goals.
Very good. That was a good summary of that journey. So do you think then, I would imagine you think then it's important for all of us to face our fears, whatever we're doing, right? Because I know in entrepreneurship, in life in general, but definitely in entrepreneurship, there are times with entering the contest where you might be so afraid to do it, but then you just get started and it reveals to you how capable you really are.
Yes, and in fact, earlier on you mentioned that, how do I progress further? I think one of the main thing, Elayne, was mindset change, because being a beauty queen and a medical student, I have no background in business at all. To me, it's just my background as an instructor, because I was in yoga, in aerobics, basically in health and wellness industry. So to me, running an actual business, brick and mortar business and online e-commerce business is like totally alien to me. So thank God that I was being given exposure to mentorship to this mentor. His name is James Wee from jameswee.com. He mentored me. He said, you know what, you should open your heart and be open to learn new things, to go to the next level. Because you see, sometimes when we think we know it all, we can be quite arrogant. So in the journey, we must learn how to be humble, and we are not a know-it-all person, and be open to have new approaches to live our life and to keep up leveling our success. So that was when I opened myself up and get educated, make mistakes, learn and repeat, because I don't want to be the person who regret not doing enough for myself when I get older. So striking out was really scary, because it's trading time for money before that. I mean, I was, training, teaching, and no background in business, running an image consultancy as well, But how do I scale my business? How do I move into the area, running multiple businesses, serial entrepreneur, having a partner in a cafe retail chain, a skincare distributor, doing online business coaching? How does it all happen? It is about imagining the worst case scenario. I want women to know that they shouldn't be crippled by their perceived limitations. So my mentor told me that. He said, you shouldn't be crippled by your own limitations. You shouldn't be crippled by what you think you know. Sometimes you don't even know what you don't know.
Right.
You just need to go out there and explore, and you should channel this kind of worry, the fear, into something more positive by envisioning success. So don't dwell, because the longer you dwell, it's harder for you to take action, get educated, make mistakes, learn and repeat. So that was what I did. I went to learn more, and then that was when I jumped into e-commerce, and then jumped into social media marketing, and I really put in hard work to really turn it around. Yeah.
That's excellent. Another woman I spoke to, Carrie Kirpin, she owns a company called Likeable Media, and she said sort of what you just said, that worry is a waste of the imagination. Like, put that energy elsewhere.
Wow.
Right? That really struck me. Like, oh, yeah, that's a good way to think about it, because you're worrying and you could be putting that energy toward the solution, like your mentor told you. So how did you meet?
Don't dwell on it, just move on.
Right. So how did you meet your mentor, and did you know actively, or were you looking at that time for someone to help you learn business, or how did that happen?
Well, he was my student. In fact, he came from my grooming class. He was my he went through I transformed him, from I did an image makeover for him, went through I did a personal shopping. I kind of branded the whole image thing for him. So he was my student. And you know what? The thing is that, I also went through six-figure debts because one of my partners ran away with the money, right? So this situation happened, and my heart was already closed. So when somebody wants to speak into my life or coach me or mentor me, I am a very stubborn person. I mean, I'm highly opinionated. I'm very strong-minded. So when you have not walked around my shoes, or you have not gone through a lot in life or weathered storms, I think you will not have the qualifications to speak to me. But for James, he revealed to me one fine day, he said, I'm a bankrupt. And I'm like, okay. Because I haven't gone through six-figure debts, and what's worse than a bankruptcy, right? I mean, bankruptcy is worse than my situation, and he has been through it, been there, done that. And he said, you know what? I'm still living my life. I turned my business around. I made my first $1 million. I grew a business $10 million. So what's next? And you're like, okay, well, you're good at what you do. And bankruptcy turned around. I think, hey, that's possible. So when I saw in him was the possibility of hope, that glimmer of hope that, hey, even he can do it. Why not me? So that was how I allowed him to mentor me. And of course, I paid him mentoring fees and stuff. But this was the beginning of the beautiful journey of my business and how I grew into a serial entrepreneur. A lot of hard work, a lot of humility, a lot of thinking that, it's not just about success is not just about glorious wins, but it's really about taking a step back and letting other people shine as well.
So you mentioned that time of in your life with it, where was it a business partnership where it ended up failing, and then the six-figure debt came about? Was that a business partnership before you met him?
Yeah, there was a business partnership. Okay. But it wasn't really in black and white because, like I said, I wasn't really that sound in business yet.
So how did you move? Because you mentioned too that your heart was closed sort of after that. And I know what that's like when something goes wrong in the business and you just, you're sort of gun shy, as they say, of either listening to someone else or working with someone else or that kind of thing. But how did you forgive yourself and move on from that to sort of start again? Because I know you've mentioned that you went through sort of a depression after that time.
Oh, I was blessed that I encountered some programs that I went through, some personal development programs that taught me a lot about self-healing, through forgiveness, and you must, heal yourself because only you can change your life and nobody can save you. You know how women we are sometimes, you wish that some Prince Charming could save you, or there could be this fairy tale story that someone will come and help you. But at the end of the day, you have to help yourself, because for things to change, first I must change.
What was the first step for you in making that change? Do you think it was something like having a mentor to help you get through that time, or the personal development workshop that you did? For other women listening, I ask for other women listening who might be going through a tough time, whether it's big debt or something else they come up against where they feel like they've let themselves down. What do you think is the first step you advise?
My biggest piece for me when I was going through my healing was my family, because I think, it could be a self-sabotage situation, to cause myself into the six-figure debt and, failed partnerships and stuff in life and the depression. There's so many pieces to that. But the biggest, for me, lessons learned was the family, of loving my family, because like when I was 14 years old, I guess I do have some bitterness, because while every other kid is playing and enjoying, I am harboring and working and doing stuff that other kids were not doing, during my time. So to me, healing my relationships with my parents was one of the biggest piece in my journey of self-healing, forgiveness. And after that, after I had learned that, things moved, and it's so amazing.
Right, once you let go, it sort of opens the way, right?
Yeah, you don't know why. Just like the universe just moves for you.
Mm-hmm. I've heard you mention also that in order to teach other women, which I know you do through your company, Soul Rich Woman, in order to teach other women about living their purpose and vision, you said that you needed to make sure that you were aligned, and that you did so by what you just mentioned, sort of clearing and forgiving and loving yourself. So I wanted to ask you, why do you feel it's important for us to make sure that we clear things and forgive, as we say, clear the path, so that we can live on purpose?
Yeah, exactly what you said, because we want to live our purpose. And in this world where there's a lot of fakeness out there, we want to be authentic. We want to be aligned, because only through being aligned and being a vessel, and that's when we can channel the energy outwards, and that's when we can reach out to more people. Because when you are not aligned and you're not forgiving yourself, you hate yourself so much, and you're having so much fears, you have a lot of baggages. How far can you grow? There's only that much space that you can grow. But looking at the world out there, the universe has given us so much potential that is innately already within us when we are born. But it's because of our experience that shaped us into who we are, and because of trauma and hurts and pains that we decide that the doors are being closed. So when I explained that my heart was closed, it was literally like trauma that closed my heart. But we had so much potential that is within us, and we are not allowing that brilliance to come out. So therefore, healing all these little doors and digging out all the skeletons, to feel the pain first and then letting it go is so important, because when all these things are cleared, doors are opened for you, and that's when you're aligned. People can feel your essence and people can feel your truth, because when you are aligned, that's when your passion comes through. It's not just only in the words that you say. We always say that, the being is important, like the essence, which is like your every single strand of muscle in your body, your cells, and the way you live and the way you behave. Everything is like a total package that will kind of influence other people. Because if you want to be a woman of influence, you got to be aligned. And that's when you can transform people's dreams, and that's when you can empower others in their lives.
So powerful, Genecia. That's so powerful. I'm just taking it all in. So powerful. So for you, speaking of transforming women's lives, I know you have this huge project that you're working on, this platform, Soul Rich Woman. Tell us about that.
Well, Soul Rich Woman basically is our mission is to empower women to achieve their ambitions. And basically, I'm an extremely driven person, whose focus in life is to deliver results that make a difference in the life of others. And I do this by helping other women entrepreneurs to efficiently attain their business goals and life, to live the life they always wanted. So I am just one of the many mentors in Soul Rich Woman with the letter A, so SOULRICHWOMAN. It's a noun. So this basically describes a person, a woman who truly lives her life purpose, who hustles in every single thing that she do and creates a recurring income in her business. And if she's not in a business, this woman is solely rich in her heart, she's also rich in wealth, and of course, being able to give value as much as possible. So I'm one of the mentors. I'm just providing this platform to, make a difference in their lives, whether it is their health, wealth, or well-being. But it's also allowing them to build a profitable online business and allowing more women to live a life of financial independence and emotional freedom. One woman can make a difference, but together we can rock the world.
That's right. Support is sexy. That's what it's all about, supporting each other. And I know for Soul Rich Woman, another thing too that I saw was a big part of it, which I love, was the community. It seemed the community was a very important part of the business or the platform.
Yeah, it is. It is.
How have you seen women respond who become involved with Soul Rich Woman to having other women there to support them? Have you seen some transformations?
Oh, yes. First of all, I believe that success isn't about glorious wins. It's about behind-the-scenes work that you do with others that matter. So it's about helping others to keep their focus on their goals and staying motivated enough to do their best to realize their potential. So Soul Rich Woman basically lays the groundwork for other women's success, then to take a step back to let them shine as well. So I do believe that every woman has a story, and through every woman who has that story, she will impact the life of another person. So we go by the franchise and licensing model. So recently, we have a franchisee from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and one of them is a mother of 5. She is also she's an outdoor timber garden furniture specialist. So she is a mother of 5, and she runs, a business. How do you manage that? So I run multiple businesses, but the only kids that I have are 3 cats. So probably my story of the 6-figure dad and the hard work and taking care of 3 cats versus someone else from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, who is an outdoor timber specialist and has 5 kids. Our stories are so different. And because of these differences in us, we leverage and we play win-win to reach out to other women through their stories. So through her, she influenced many other women who, probably also had failed marriages and couldn't have the second chance to walk out of their marriage, or didn't want to, go into the next one, because this mother of 5, her name is Valerie Towell. She had a failed marriage before, and then she went into some debts, and then after that, she didn't want to be in a relationship, even though she has kids, But recently, 4 years ago, she got married again, and her youngest child is 11 months.
Wow. That's
and
amazing.
She's a Soul Rich Woman core team member in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So her story will impact another woman's life, which is totally different from mine. That's why we said there is power in numbers, and we believe in people and their dreams. We really want to transform people's business and their lives. So it's not through just the technical stuff like the social media marketing, the brand building, which I always do, but it's through the heart connection, the heart-centered female entrepreneurs and women leaders with inside them the brilliance that will connect with other women to make a difference in their lives.
Now, this is for women in Singapore, but you're also expanding it globally, right? People can go to soulrichwoman.com to find out more about it.
Yeah, they can go to soulrichwoman.com, soulrichwoman.com. In fact, it's a global community. We do have, because the membership is an online platform, so if they join us as a member, they'll receive a couple of online learning courses, and then there's a network where they can network online as well, because there is the listings of the businesses and the people who's there, and then they have the credits to learn throughout the year. And on top of it, we have the offline community, which is built by the licensing and franchising program that we have at Soul Rich Woman, where let's say someone from Myanmar, someone from Taiwan, or someone from USA, whichever, okay, takes up a licensing and franchise program, they can run that network themselves, and we give the utmost support to them.
I see. So someone could start in New York, for example, a Soul Rich Woman, almost like a chapter, or like you said, a franchise, and you will support them there. Okay, I see. That's great, because that's a great way of expanding globally.
Yeah, and in fact, they can make money too because I believe in helping women build recurring income because membership fees are by per year basis, and through networking and getting more people just through the membership program, example, they could make money as well. But we are women who believe in value. We are not just, we are women. We are not just people who just take things. We really believe in giving because a lot of members have told me that being a part of the Soul Rich Women community is an enriching personal experience for them. Not only do our members learn a lot, but we do also have a lot of fun and to distress and while interacting with each other. You can see that on the website because we have photos, we have all the event pictures. You can check it out. It's all on the website.
Yes, and you have great videos, and it's a lot of fantastic information. I love what you're doing. It's fantastic, and it's you, and you have some co-founders as well that you work with, right?
Yes, I do have co-founders. In fact, my mentor is now the co-founder of Soul Rich Woman. He is like the senior advisor of the Soul Rich Woman. Yeah,
that's great. So you continue to work together.
Yes, we continue to work together, and there are some other mentors as well, like Charlotte Mizuki, the founder of Lifespark Studio. She is also mentoring women in their health and well-being because she's a business owner who runs a boutique studio here in Singapore. So she comes into Soul Rich Women and mentor women how to eat a healthy habits, how do you slim down? Because through her story, same thing, Elayne, is through her story. She was 86 kilos before, and then now she's only 49 kilos. So she had that weight loss transformation. And because of that, because of our platform, Soul Rich Woman, she could reach out to more women with her story.
So
this is win-win and leverage.
Right. So what do you think about the model of, just from the business side of it, the membership model? Because I know that's something people are doing in different ways. I love the way that you're using it. But this idea of, as you said earlier, instead of sort of one-on-one coaching or trading time for money, really looking at a way to use a membership site or some kind of group platform that lets you sort of connect with people online in a bigger way. How are you enjoying that experience?
I love it. I mean, coming from a background when I was paid $100 an hour to $200 an hour, $300 an hour, to now it's like a membership of 8,000 members, paying members, and it's recurring income yearly. Of course, there are some who drop off, some new members, some renewals, but it's amazing. It's an online community with offline support as well through the franchise and licensing model. It's super awesome. I love leveraging on technology, and this is something that Soul Rich Woman is really a believer of. Because for me, when I crossed my six-figure debt to cross my very first million, was because I leveraged on technology. I use funnels, I use social media marketing, I use I do Facebook live streams. I do a lot of generating leads through online and sharing my story through social media. I have no background in SEO. I have no background in digital marketing, but it was through sheer determination of transforming my life. I shared with you my journey of humility and learning, even though with no business background, and I'm a medical student. But you know what? Hey, at any age, we can still learn something. We are not dumb. Yeah, we have enough to do our best to realize our potential. It's all within us. We just need to believe or have someone who believes in us, just like my mentor who believes in me, so that we can really, shine on our life.
8,000 members. That's amazing. Have you been reaching out to people mostly through social media or creating the leads that you mentioned through, smart technology like ClickFunnels and that kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely social media, and then you put them into funnels. I use Infusionsoft, and I use other landing pages to help me to generate the leads. But most importantly, Elayne, is your story, because these days storytelling is so powerful. It's something that I believe is a part of brand building that you cannot live without now, because social media is the new name card, and so many people who are on social media are just doing it mechanically, which means to say they are just, okay, you know what, Genecia, I need to have social media. So they will have a Facebook page, they will have an Instagram account, they will have a Google Plus page, they will have Pinterest, they will have LinkedIn. But you know what? It's all filled with cobwebs, cockroaches, and rats. There's no presence and there's no life in that. So literally, when you have social media, you must know how to leverage and know how to bring life into it, and don't need to be everywhere. You just need to know that, okay, how can you consolidate and keep, bring in your brand and your story to communicate with others out there.
And be authentic. I think that's for you. It's at least what I'm feeling from you. You seem like you're so authentic and open and genuine about your story.
Yeah, basically building your know, like, trust score. This is something that I keep telling my community. Don't just sell. People hate being sold to. I hate being sold to. I hate it. But if you tell me a story that I can identify with, that I think that through your life, I see myself having a glimmer of hope and transformation, maybe I'll buy your products and maybe I'll buy your services. It's about your know, like, trust score. It's really, So Rich Woman is basically a mastermind community leveraging on technology that help women to fast track in their business success. So when I share all this information to my women, of course, sometimes the take-up can be a little bit slow because, a lot of work is on the mindset, Elayne. It's not just in the storytelling part. I mean, yes, you do all the work, but if your mindset don't change, there's nothing we can do for you. Mindset is a big piece for women to accelerate their business success and to start living the life that they want. That is the piece that need to work on. Confront your fears. Face them. Your past does not equal to the future. I was in six-figure debt. I was hard work when I was 14 years old. But you know what? Now I live a life of abundance. Now I live a life of easy. I make friends easy. I connect with people easily. There's this flow because we created this. And if we are crippled by failure, that's when things will go downfall. So don't let all these things affect you, because you can do it. The sky is the limit, and there's no storm you cannot conquer.
Now, a quote I've heard from you, Genecia, is it's never about the mistakes I made. It's about the distinctions I learned. So I wanted to ask you, what has been the greatest distinction you have learned over the years, and what lesson did it sort of leave with you?
The greatest distinctions I've learned is to tell the truth with compassion. When we grow ourselves to, because you see, I really believe in leveraging and playing win-win through business, and it was not easy to learn all this truth, right? So I used to be in a network where nobody really truly supported me in the things that I do. And you are the average of the 6 people that you hang out with the most.
Right.
So calculate the salary, calculate their network, calculate their mindset, calculate everything, and put together and ask yourself, do you want to be the average of those people that you hang out with the most? So telling the truth with compassion means that, you really say the truth that, hey, maybe we shouldn't be friends anymore. I mean, just saying. But literally, changing your network and saying that, telling yourself that this is not something for me anymore and it's time to move on. And being able to recognize that it's okay that things don't work out and it's okay to embrace change. Because when there is clarity, there is power. It's a lot of diversity and being accountable in the steps that we take and not pointing fingers at other people. So these were some of the pieces that happened for me, the distinctions that happened for me along the way. My clarity leads to power. The only failure is the failure to participate, because I could just have a closed heart and not live my life. And it's because exactly I chose to live my life, and that's why I have so many other opportunities. And precisely it's because I chose to heal my life and forgive myself, forgive my parents, and that was how my life was transformed. So in a nutshell, it's the way we be as a person, our being as a person, whether you're aligned, your heart, your mind, your soul is aligned. And you know what, the funny thing is, Elayne, is that also how I came up with the name So Rich Woman, because I was inspired by how my life has transformed over the years from, the little girl to that, gone through all the business stuff, to really wanting to tell women that they have to be rich in their hearts and only that they can give, because you can't give what you don't have.
Right. Can't give from an empty cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, what would you say entrepreneurship has taught you about yourself as a woman?
For me, entrepreneurship have taught me to be resilient and taught me to keep hustling and never give up. Because I believe that success does not come overnight, just like Rome is not built in a day. I always think that success, it should be going beyond your own interest and having a much broader impact in other people's lives. So over the years, I mean, I have built my brand from Miss Singapore to multiple business, running multiple businesses. And I feel that there's something more in my life that I could do. So my greater good is in providing women or women entrepreneurs or women leaders a better and more inclusive community that supports them in every step of their entrepreneurial journey. So because now, I mean, at least these days, in my next phase of my life, I really feel that success isn't just about money, but being responsible and doing public good in our own community.
I'm curious with you. I know you've been in the public space or public face for a while now, having been Miss Singapore International and then all the things you do through your business and Soul Rich Woman. Is it hard sometimes to know who to have sort of in your circle? My next question was going to be asking you about what your support network looks like, but I'm curious for you, being a public person, is it difficult sometimes to sort of have your own space or your own circle of people who support you? What is that like for you?
I think there are a couple of parts to the question. I think first of all, being a public figure is awesome. You know why?
Good.
Because we have plenty of influence.
Right.
You know, the things that we do, we can influence so many people to be more positive and to live your life with success. I love and enjoy this piece. But you know what? To move into entrepreneurship space, the network was completely different because those people in my public space were public figures as well. And most of them are not business owners, back then. And then I wanted to move into the entrepreneurship space. So definitely I needed to shift out of the network and into the new space with all the, big entrepreneurs. So that was kind of the pieces that needed to move around. So my support network is pretty interesting. I still have the public space people, but I also now have the entrepreneurship space people. But it's just that mindset shift about, who you are, your identity. Because when you are a public figure, when I was a public figure, I don't really do sales. People just come to me because when I influence, people come to me. I don't have to do that. But one of my biggest piece when I moved into the entrepreneurship space was that I needed to learn how to do sales and learn marketing, like I shared with you, social media marketing. How do you do branding? How do you do funnels? How do you do live streaming, in a way to build up the funnels, right? Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. You just need to put yourself with the right people and acknowledge that you are not small, that they are just people as well. Those big boys out there are still people.
Right.
So just be fearless and just reach out to them and want to be in their network and tell them why why your value is there.
In closing, Genecia, if you think over your life and career and you had the chance to thank only one person whose support was critical to you personally or professionally, who would that be and what would you say?
The person is my mother. Even though life was not easy and even though life was hard, even though people have come and gone, she was still there for me. And even though she forced me to take up the instructor certifications and push me to go into the area, which I hated back then. But now I look back, it is not because of her foresight, which I couldn't see back then when I was younger. I would not be who I am today. So my mother is someone that I thank and I love very much. And, no matter what happens, blood is still thicker than water.
That's right. Excellent. So now tell us how we can support you. Of course, I'll have links to everything, but just so people can hear it, website, social media, and anything else that you want us to know about.
Well, you can look for us at soulrichwoman.com, soulrichwoman.com. And what you could do is you can join us. You can go to our website. There are lots of freebies there, and you can even check out membership. We welcome you into the community. Basically, we believe that, women is really so valuable. There's so many skills as well we can leverage on each other. The talents that you have, they can share with the world. So even if you don't recognize that the value in yourself, other people can help you to get to know the aspects of you. So if you have a supportive network that can do it for you, it'll be much easier to leverage your efforts by 100-fold. So come join us, and we look forward to have you a part of our community.
Excellent. Genecia, thank you so much. This was empowering for me. You said so many things that I needed to hear. I really appreciate you sharing your story and your time with us.
Oh, thank you very much for having me on your show too, Elayne.
Absolutely. So hold on. Actually, before you go, what's a parting piece of advice from you to our listeners about anything?
Well, for women out there, striking out on your own is always scary, and we always imagine the worst possible scenarios. In reality, these situations rarely come to pass. I want women to know that they shouldn't be crippled by their perceived limitations. Instead, they should channel the worry into something more positive by envisioning the success. Don't dwell, because the longer you dwell, the harder it'll be. The harder it'll be for you to take action. Don't dwell, okay? Get educated, make mistakes, learn and repeat. And you don't want to be that person who regrets not doing enough for herself when you get older.
Genecia Alluora, thank you so much. Hold on for just a second. All right, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Genecia. I came out of that one feeling pumped and ready to go. So many great reminders in there. For more from Genecia, go to supportissexypodcast.com so you can see all of the links that Genecia mentions in this episode, how to get in touch with her, how to find out more about Soul Rich Woman. Supportissexypodcast.com. Go to the search icon and just search Genecia, Genecia. And you'll see her show notes page there with all of the resources. So thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. If you love the podcast, please leave us a review. Let me know what you think. Give me some feedback. I always say I'd love a 5-star review, but any feedback is appreciated. I really love knowing what you think of the show, and it also helps us for the show. The more reviews we get, the more it moves up the ladder, the more attention it gets. We get the message out to more people, which is the key. Getting the message of Support is Sexy out to more people. So if you have time, leave a quick review. I would love to hear from you. As always, thank you so much again for listening. I truly appreciate you. So until we talk again, you know what to do. Go out there and create something sexy. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.